in Moscow, the first American string player to win it in the history of the awards. And we're as proud of him as we would be had he won a gold medal in the Olympics. Here's one of the greatest cellists in the world, our own Nathaniel Rosen. Makes me think about the first time I ever picked up an instrument as a child. The horrible sound that came out of it. How long after you began did you acquire that marvelous, rich, lovely tone?
Well, the cello is not quite as bad as the violin, but what was the instrument that you picked up?
A tenor saxophone. It sounded like a camel in heat. Just awful, the sound of it.
Well, I started out honestly but modestly, and I don't know exactly how I was playing until I got to be 12 or 13, and people began to applaud when I played instead of not applaud, and so I began to think maybe I could do something good.
Now, I want to ask you something. You take 10 cellists and put them right here in front of us and have them all play the same thing. They're going to play the same notes, but they're not going to have that resonance, and they're not going to have that wonderful tenure that you have when you play. What makes a cellist better than the run-of-the-mill cellists? Is it a feeling that you have, or is it something that you do with the fingers, or?
Well, it's difficult to say because anybody can be trained to do the right thing with the left hand and the right thing with the right arm, but it depends on what you want to say musically. And if you have a sound that's inside of you that you want to project to the audience, then it makes you able to achieve something extra.
So you think that a lot of it really has to do with the mental process?
That's right.
A lot of it comes from right there, too.
Desire to
get it to make a certain.
I've always wondered
exactly.
what makes some musicians better than others when they're all playing
Practice.
the same notes. Not necessarily
A lot of
practice.
good- a lot of that
I
goes
think
into
it
it.
has a lot to do with feeling and intelligence.
You had competed before there, hadn't you?
12 years ago, I was the youngest contestant then, and now I'm the oldest.
You're you're 30 now, which is the oldest, isn't it? The oldest.
That's the age limit, which I made just under the wire by 8 days.
Now, you picked your repertoire for the competition, with the competition in mind.
That's
Actually.
true. Yeah, when I went before, I played a concerto by Victor Herbert, who wrote many operettas and light compositions. And I played it because I liked it and I wanted to be different than everybody else. But this time I picked other pieces because I wanted to be better than everybody else.
Now, in the competition, how many numbers are you allowed?
10 in 3
in-
rounds.
Not at one sitting, 10 numbers.
The longest period that we play at one sitting is 1 hour and 20 minutes, and that's pretty rough. Especially when the television lights are just as hot as they are here, and the people are much less relaxed.
How about the tension? How big a part does that play in how you actually perform?
Well,
Sometimes helps some people.
I was about to say that because if the tension is very great, it can make you concentrate just tremendously. And if you concentrate without distraction, then the tension can help you.
Now, is there a reaction from the audience to tell you, in your own mind, that you're doing perhaps better than the other 9 people?
Yes, because when I was through playing, they began applauding rhythmically, which
Like,
well,
oh my
like
God.
that. To me, it sounds a little bit militaristic, but that's not the idea at all. It's sort of like a mass demonstration, and they do it in other countries in Europe too, besides
Japan,
Russia.
I think they do that.
And in Scandinavia.
Yeah, they don't make a sound, even if you're doing comedy, I'm told, until you're finished.
Well,
Which I would die 1,000 deaths in here.
well, for me, that really makes it feel good because when I get to a very soft place and I let the tone die out and make a pause just for an instant, and then I can actually hear the silence
Then
of the
there is
audience.
showmanship involved in what you do, isn't there?
Sure it is. I mean, if I was playing that Tchaikovsky piece and I was going like this when I was playing or
Instead
making
of-
a horrible face, it would detract from
I
it.
love this. His wife is a cellist, and she scouted some of the other cellists, didn't she?
She told me what they were all doing wrong.
You had an edge.
Yes, I know. But also, you need a good team there, and I had a good team. Mr. James Gemmell, whom you just heard at the piano,
Yes.
was there with me, and without his help and my wife's assistance, I would never have won.
And you couldn't take your prize out of Russia, which was what, 2,500 American dollars?
Well, actually, it was 2,750 Russian rubles, but...
What is that in American?
$10 in America.
989.
That's
What
right.
was
You
it?
can't take rubles
That's
out.
right.
The Russians claim that it's worth $4,000.
What did you do with it?
I spent it on vodka and caviar.
Nathaniel Rosen. He'll be right back. Right after. And once again, a real American hero, Nathaniel Rosen. Nathaniel Rosen, thank you very much. That lovely?